Good morning, everybody. It is Happy Friday, so grab your coffee. I have mine, and let's have some bagel too. So anyway, let's have a conversation, shall we? As you know, every Friday, I just like to be here to bring something that we can stop and think. And nothing really serious, nothing heavy, just something that we can sit here and have a few minutes and have a conversation. So tomorrow is 8/8. We all know that, of course. But apparently it is something it's a date it's something called Lion Gate. And I'll be honest, I had never ever heard of this before, and maybe because I was not in that community, or social media and stuff like that hasn't been such a big part of my life. So now it is, so it's popping up everywhere. Some people believes in it, some people thinks it's all about astrology, and some people don't believe in it at all, which is fine. And honestly, it's not what caught my attention. What caught my attention was, why are so many people drawn to it? I mean, seriously, if um, once, as you know, social media algorithm, once you start clicking on one because you're curious, everything about the day start popping up everywhere. I mean, a few of my brand partners that in this holistic spiritual world are hosting a Lion Gate meditation night. And so there's a few people just doing that, right? So I start to read about it some more. And the more I read, the more information keep popping up on my radar. So from what I understand, people use it as a time to reflect. That's why they have a meditation night for Lion Gate. They set new intentions. It's kind of a reset in a way. It's a starting over. And then I caught myself thinking, why do we do that? Why do we seem to need something and anger um, before we're willing to make a change? I mean, think about it. We have New Year's resolution. We have birthday. Let's start again on Monday morning, right? Maybe the first day of the month, or before vacation, especially if you are having weight kind of go, then you do it before vacation or sometime vacation. After the kids go back to school, after holidays. I mean, if you are talking again about diet after the holidays, I mean, if you're like me, I love eating. So Thanksgiving on until like the end of the year is nothing but big feast. So that became something that a lot of that I noticed that even I said, okay, I'll get back to my healthy eating again after the holidays, right? Because I want to enjoy every single food. But now let's get back to 8/8. It seemed like we all like having something on the calendar that say, okay, today is that day, and I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, truthfully, because I actually do it myself. Because maybe it isn't but maybe it isn't the date that is the powerful part of it. Maybe it's the decision. You know, maybe we just need something that give us permission to begin. So that really made me stop, because I start thinking about wellness. How many times have we said, again, I'll start on Monday. I'll start eating healthy again on Monday. Let's, me enjoy the weekend. After the holidays, like I mentioned, when we meet next month when life slowed down a little bit. I mean, that sounds familiar, right? I'm sure you guys have said that a few times. And but the funny thing is, and this is I thought was clever when I reflect on this. Our body doesn't know what day it is. I mean, we can argue sometimes, like, oh yes, it knows it's like Friday because it's getting into weekend, right? Or it knows it's Monday and we can't wake up and have the energy. But realistically, our body doesn't know it's Monday. It doesn't know it's January 1st, or it doesn't know that tomorrow is 8/8. But we do. And maybe that's just enough. Maybe the date isn't changing us. Maybe it's we use it as a reminder, that we can change. So I actually like that thought more than the fact that it's a lion gate at 8/8 myself, right? It's what it stands for. Because it take all the pressure off. You don't have to believe in the lion gate. You don't have to believe in astrology, but maybe you believe in fresh starts. I mean, I do. I know I really do. And not because yesterday was bad, not because I fail. And every now and then, it's good to stop, look around, and ask yourself, how am I doing? You know, how am I doing with my wellness routine? How am I doing with my exercise? I know I talk about the walking a little bit that we tend to forget. We get on the routine and then we continue for a week, 10 days, a month, or whatever, and then life get busy and we stop. So maybe this is a date is just a reminder for us. It's like, hey, let's start over. Let's have a fresh start again. Drink a little bit more water. Go out for a walk. Start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes around the block. You know, get more sleep. So, or finally make that appointment that you meant to make. I know I have a couple that I still need to do. Call someone, or this is call someone that you've been meaning to call. Get that connection back. You know, none of this thing requires special date. But if tomorrow 8/8 reminds you to start, I think that's a pretty good thing. So there's my Friday bagel. Maybe we don't really need an anchor. Maybe what we really need is a reason to begin. And if 8/8 or birthday or Monday morning or New Year or just today, because I reminded you, become that reason, then maybe that's exactly what is there for. You know, so I love to hear from you. Have a, have you ever had a moment, a date, or even an event? I know that there's a few people that's like, hey, like a vacation. Oh, I need to get skinnier or get healthier before I go on my vacation, right? But anyway, have you ever had a moment, a date, or even event that become the turning point for your new chapter in your life? I love to read all your story. That's the most fun part. So share that with me and have a wonderful weekend. Maybe start that use today or tomorrow as a new reset. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you next Friday. Have a good weekend.